Today we have a really fun Blender tutorial for you. This is going to be a tutorial on making a sky dancer in Blender. Now you've probably seen these growing up at some point in your life at a car dealership of some sort or in front of a petrol station. Just these sort of sky dancers. They're a ton of fun and I decided we'll actually make one in Blender, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make it quite simply. And the exact settings you need to use to get a sort of effect. And I think it's just really fun, very beginner friendly. And what we'll also be doing is just a little bit of texture painting, though the main focus is actually on making the cloth simulation itself, making the actual sky dancer. I'll kind of briefly touch just an overview on how to set up the lighting if you wanted to, render this out as a final render. So this is kind of like the blend file here. I will be putting this on my Patreon, so those of you in Patreon will be getting access. But it's just a really fun and simple beginner tutorial that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. So let's jump in, let's make this, and I hope you guys enjoy. With a new scene opened up in Blender, let's select all the default objects and press delete. Then we're going to go Shift A, we're going to go to Mesh Options, let's add in a cylinder. And let's just tab into edit mode. And with all of this selected, we're going to go S.2 and hit enter. So S.2, there we go. And then let's go enable our X-ray toggle here. And in our front orthographic view, we'll select all these top verts and go G, Z. Let's just move them up to about here. And we can kind of move the whole thing up till it's kind of just sitting on our floor like that. Okay. Then we're going to come in here, Control R, and you can see a loop forming in the middle, the yellow line. And if you roll the middle mouse button, you can add in more segments. So I'm just going to roll until I see kind of like these even little squares. Okay. And what I'll do as well, I'll turn off the X-ray and I'll just for now just select the top face and the bottom face. I'm going to go X and just delete faces because we need them to be open. And what we're going to do is in wireframe, in our front orthographic view, we're just going to select half of these faces going down, exactly halfway in the middle. And we're going to go X and delete only those faces. And then let's go to our modifiers, add modifier, search, and let's just type in mirror, click on mirror and make sure to enable clipping. That's really important. Now at this point, we have this mirrored, but we're going to go into our right orthographic view like this, as you can see. And in our right orthographic view, looking onto the side, you're going to just select an area to make the arm. So I'm going to go about here. I'm just going to click and drag and just kind of select a rough square area like this, as long as it's more or less in the middle. Okay, just like this, a rough square, it should be fine. As you can see in the front view, this is what we have. In the right view, this is what you can see. And we're going to go E to extrude, S to scale, and click, and let's go X and delete those faces. And then go into edge select option, you can go Shift Alt left click, loop select this, and then go Shift Alt and S. So Shift Alt S, move your mouse and you can round this out, and then go E to extrude, S to scale, and click. And I'm going to go Control plus 2 or 3 times just to grow the selection. Go to your smooth tool and then just click on this little gizmo and just smooth it out. And then go Shift Alt left click on this loop again. And this is what we're going to use to extrude the arm. So now we're going to go, I'll just get my move tool here. I'll just drag this out a little bit. We're going to go SX0 to flatten it. You might just have to drag it out just a little bit more. There we go. And then you're going to go E to extrude, and you kind of just extrude it out, rotate it, and kind of move it out like this. There we go. Something like that. And then go Control R and roll your middle mouse button just to add in some more loops, making these rough little edges. And then what I like to do, because I think this adds a nice decorative edge or finish, is just to go hold in Shift and just select every other edge like this. Okay, and what we're going to do in our front view, we'll just go E to extrude out a little bit and click, and then go Shift R to repeat that action, just so it has like these fingers, if you will. And then if you wanted to, you can do this at the top of the head. I'm just selecting every second one. Yes, you can use the checker deselect if you want to do that quicker. I can't be bothered, so I'm just selecting every other one. I'm going to go E to extrude and Z. Shift R just to repeat that action a few times. And there we have it. Okay, very simple. We're going to tab back out. I'm going to right click and go Shade Smooth. And this is where things get really fun, I think. So we need to actually go over to our object data properties. we need to give it a vertex group. And inside of edit mode, we want to make sure that we anchor the front verts. So I'm just going to select these bottom verts. And I'm going to go ahead in edit mode. I'm going to assign them to that group we created. Tab back out. Now if we go over to our physics, we can give this a cloth. We can go down and first of all, under the shape, we want to tell Blender to pin that group. So those bottom verts don't go anywhere, they're anchored. Otherwise this would just blow away. We're then also going to come down to collisions. We want to make sure to enable self collision. That's important. And we also want to come up here to pressure and give it a pressure of 12. And we also want to go up to our stiffness. We're going to give it a bending of 1.5 and a bending under the dampening here of 1.5. So these two over here. Okay, that's really important. And then if we now go over to frame 1 and we hit the spacebar, you're going to see that this kind of just falls. And that's to be expected because Blender has gravity, you know, and acting on things. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in a force like wind. So we're going to go Shift A. We're going to go over to our force field. So we're going to add in some wind. And this wind is pointing up, which it should be, but we're also going to come here to the object data properties. We're going to make it smaller like this. Then we're going to go over to our physics. We're going to give it a strength of 3000. Okay. And then if we go to frame 1 and we hit the spacebar, we should see this now kind of inflates like this. And if it's not quite enough and it's not holding up, what you could do is you could just select this wind and you can give it a strength that's higher. So I might go to 10,000, go to frame 1 and then hit the spacebar. And now it's inflating a little bit better, but it's still not quite there. So this is one of those things you sometimes just have to mess around with it. I'm going to go to 20,000. And now at 20,000, that's looking a lot better. But it still has a little bit of the issue with it kind of like folding in on itself in some places. So what I'm going to do is you can either select it and you can go to frame 1, you can go S to scale it up a little bit, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to click. Then I'm going to go Control A, I'm going to apply to scale. Or if it shrinks up like that, you can actually go over to your collisions and you can make these collision distances smaller. Okay, but in this case, I've just scaled it up and I've gone Control A and applied to scale. Okay, and now if we go to frame 1 and we hit the space bar, you can see that is a lot better. So, and it's not crimpling in on itself. So keep that in mind if that's the issue you're having. But now you can see, look at this. This is absolutely beautiful. This is behaving exactly like we want. The cool thing is you can grab your wind at any point and now it's at 15,000. And I think that works a little bit better. There we go, that's beautiful. So another cool trick I'll just show you. If you want, you can actually take this object here, the actual force field, and in your front view, just move it down a bit. You can kind of come here on frame 1 and go I to insert a keyframe. I'm going to make this 200 frames long. And I'll come to the end frame and I'll also press I with this selected to insert a keyframe. And then in between, I'm just going to come with auto keying and just slightly rotate it side to side. You don't have to do this, but I think that just gives it a little bit of randomness. So now if you have that sort of moving and you go to frame 1 and you hit the spacebar, now our dude here is going to kind of go side to side a little bit, which is kind of like what they do. And you have this sort of waving effect, which is really, really cool. These things are a ton of fun. And I think this really kind of gives us the effect quite well. There we have it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this dude. I'm going to go over to the cloth. I'm going to go down to the cache and I'm going to give it 200. I'm just going to go ahead and bake this into the blend file. And there we have it, now baked in. Pretty cool. So if you wanted to, you could definitely come in here and I'll quickly show you. Let's just quickly go over to our texture paint for now. Let's just go new and create a new texture and just go new over here. Okay, and then over here, we'll tab into edit mode, press A to select everything. In our front view, we'll go U and we'll go, let's just go project from view. And then over here, actually we might have to just go into our editing, UV editing. So over here, we're just gonna select all these guys. We're gonna go S to scale them up. and just kind of move it till it's kind of sitting over, I don't know, over to the side a bit. I might just have to do a little bit of rotating just to get it in here. Something like that. There we go. Okay, there we have it. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into back to our texture paint. And let's just call this map that we created here, let's just call it Dancer. And let's just go over to our material properties. Let's go new. Let's just go to our base color and let's give it an image texture. And let's come to the drop down and then get that Dancer. Now we can come over here and let's change this color to whatever you want. I'm going to go kind of like an orangey yellow, like that. And now you can come over here and just paint your dude. So I'm going to come here and just give him a good painting. There we go. And I'll kind of come here to the side and paint him up. Just get any of these sort of bits here. There we go. Like that. And now I'll just come here and change this black by bringing down that value. And I'm just going to come here and shrink my brush by pressing F. And let's just give him some eyes, and zooming in, let's just give him a smiley face. Like that. Okay. That's really, really simple. You can do this much better if you wanted to. Just the downside of this here as well, it's painted in through to the back because this is projection viewing, but I don't think that really matters because some of them are actually made like that, so you can see them from the back as well. So I don't really care too much. Let's go back to, so let's just make sure to go image, save as. I'll save this image to my desktop. And yeah, let's just go over into our layout. Let's change our render engine to cycles. Let's just come to the render here and change the max samples to 45. And in our front view, we're going to go Shift A. Let's just add a camera. Move the camera back. And in camera view, you can go Shift A, add in a plane and just move it up. Rotate it on the X. Just move it back in the scene and then kind of just scale it up. Something simple like that. And then I think just adding in an area light is really kind of a good thing to use here. And just, you know, a strength of 300 is good. The size of about 3 meters. Once again, like I said, this is not really so much about the lighting and texturing. So I'm just kind of giving you an overview, but having some lights coming from the back and then maybe like one main light from the front. Like so. There we go. And you can also go to your world properties, make it darker. There you go. Something like that. Just kind of give it a shot. And under your render properties, you can also come down and enable motion blur. And another thing I would try for sure is just to grab that background plane, give it a material, maybe make it a little bit darker for contrast. And there we have it. There we have our little dancing dude. I think another thing we can do is just select him, give him a solidify, just give him a bit of thickness, like so. I think that looks good. But there we have it. So I'm just going to pause on a shot that I think looks cool. And let's go render and render the image. And there we have it. Now this is blurry because it has motion blur, which would look really cool if you rendered this out as a video. So let's just say you wanted to render this out as a video. You could just come here to output settings and then choose a destination on your computer. Under the output, change the file format to something like FFmpeg video. And under the encoding, you can change it to MP4. In that case, you can now go render and render the animation, and it'll, over a few minutes or an hour, depends on how powerful your computer is, it'll render this out as an animation in the MP4 format. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. This has been a ton of fun. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.